Good morning, Kate here, bringing you this week's Monday mission. And this one is all about rest and relaxation. So I had put up a poll on Instagram asking you about or telling you some different topics that I had ideas for, and then getting your input as to which would benefit you the most and which you wanted to hear about this week. And the majority of you wanted to talk about relaxation and learning how to relax. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I think we all know that we should relax, right? We all know that we should rest and take time for ourselves and do self-care. But a lot of us still don't. We still don't really take the time that we should, really make it a priority, make ourselves a priority, and really recognize the importance of rest and relaxation. And we just are kind of on this wheel, this hamster wheel, where we just go, 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 go. So I want to talk a little bit about why we're at this point where we know that it's something that our bodies need, but we don't do it. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the science behind it and why not resting and relaxing actually creates the opposite results of what we want. And then we're going to talk about what we can do instead, and we'll get to our mission. Okay. So why are we at this place where we know that rest and relaxation is super important, but yet we continue to just go at this pace? We don't make it a priority. We don't create time for it, right? And I think it's a lot of different things. As with anything, it's really our messages growing up. So what was modeled for us? What did we see those around us doing? What was sort of the culture? What were the messages that were sent to us? And I remember, my mom, and other women in my life were constantly kind of saying things like, oh, I should be doing this, or I should be doing that. Or, they sort of shamed themselves for any downtime that they had where they weren't being productive. And it's no judgment. They were kind of falling into that same mentality that was being pushed on us as women, especially, to get as much done as you possibly can. There's no time to sit and relax. You don't need to relax. That's saying you can sleep when you're dead, right? So, we received those messages growing up. And then, especially today, I feel like our culture and society really has become like this hustle culture, right? Where it's almost like if you don't have a side hustle, you're the laziest piece of crap, right? You should have a side hustle in addition to your full-time job or staying at home with the kids. If you do that, you absolutely should have a side hustle and go, 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 go. And just being on this hamster wheel of seeing how much you can get done and how productive you can be. And it's just become this culture, which then becomes our identity. And especially as moms, selflessness and putting others' needs before our own is really celebrated, okay? There are no Mother's Day cards that say she really took care of herself and knew how to relax and rested when she needed. No, oh, she's so selfish and she puts everyone before herself. And it's celebrated where you almost feel like this obligation to be this selfless creature, which think about what that means, selfless. You lose yourself. Who in the world said that makes you a good mom, or that makes you a good wife, or that makes you a good daughter, a good partner, whatever it is, employee? It's ridiculous. So, but that's why we're here, right? So that's the culture that we're in. I think if you really stopped and just took a look at the messages that we're all kind of getting, that's what they are. It's just, that hustle culture. So I want to go into a little bit of science now, because for me at least, sometimes when there's science that I can sort of point to or back up, these things that we know to be true, right? We know that rest and relaxation is good for us, but we don't do it. So sometimes when, at least for me, when I hear the science behind it, it makes it a little bit more real and more like, oh, yeah, I really need to pay attention to this, right? So the two things I want to talk about is the brainimal, so the animal part of the brain that is activated when we have stress. And then I'm going to talk about our nervous system. And they're intertwined, but I'm going to give two different examples. So the brainimal, so the animal part of our brain, is the part that is reactive when it's feeling a level of stress, okay? And through, we've talked about this on here before, but through our evolvement and just how the brain was developed for us to survive, That part of the brain is what kicked in when there was a major threat, when we were being chased by tigers or lions, or we had to fight for our food, or whatever it might be. Nowadays, that's not a threat anymore that we have to deal with, right? But when we are constantly going and going and going and not listening to our bodies and thinking, well, we have an hour before our next appointment, so we should be able to do these 5 things within that hour, that is creating a chronic low level of stress that for many of us is probably just our baseline. We don't even realize that we are constantly on this, albeit low level, but this low level of chronic stress, chronic meaning it's constant. And when we're in that space, the animal part of our brain kicks in. When we are in the animal part of our brain, it is much more difficult to be in the thinking part of our brain, which is where we're able to focus and organize and problem solve and get things done, right? So we do all of these things to think, if I do this, if I am, handling this and I'm tackling this project and I'm saying yes to this person, we think that it's going to help us focus. It's going to help us be organized. It's going to help us get all of these things done. It's going to help people like us because we've gotten this project done for work ahead of schedule. And we told this person that we'd be able to help them out with this thing that they have going on. And we met everyone else's needs. And so we think that this go, 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 go is giving us focus and organization and showing people that we love them, right? But what it's actually doing is keeping us in that animal part of the brain, which makes it more difficult to focus, makes it more difficult to organize, makes it more difficult to problem solve. And in reality, it makes us more short-tempered and more inclined to snap at the ones that we loved, which is not showing them that we love them, right? We're snapping at them. We're short with them. We're, um, maybe picking fights or getting into arguments that really are unnecessary, but we are in that chronic low level of stress. And so we're reactive, right? Because the animal brain, it either fights, flights, or freezes. So even at that low level, you're going to have those sensations and those reactions. So the very thing you're trying to do, we are actually preventing and working against. Okay. The other time that this impacts us is with digestion and losing weight or just being healthy. Okay. So if you're someone that carries a lot of weight in your stomach, okay, and around your middle, you've probably heard that that could be the result of the stress hormone, which is cortisol, right? And people that tend to carry weight in their belly may have a high level of cortisol, which results from stress. So our nervous system has 2 parts to it. There's a sympathetic part of the nervous system, and there's a parasympathetic. The sympathetic part is what is activated during stress, not just a tiger chasing us, this low level stress that I've been talking about, right? And the parasympathetic is also called the rest and digest system. Okay, that's the part of our system that digests our food properly and sends energy throughout our body where it needs to go. You cannot be in both at the same time. So if you are in the sympathetic nervous system, you cannot be in the parasympathetic, meaning that chronic stress that we have, shoving fast food down before you get to your next appointment or you get to the soccer field, you are in the sympathetic nervous system, okay? In fact, it doesn't even matter how healthy the food is. You could be eating the healthiest salad and protein, but if you are doing it quickly and because you're constantly thinking about where you need to be next and what are you going to do when you get there and where's the other kid need to be and what needs to be done at the house, what I should be doing, I need to get that email sent out to work. When you are eating under that level of stress and the sympathetic response, it doesn't even matter how healthy your food is. You literally cannot be in the system, the parasympathetic, that digests your food properly and helps you rest and relax so that that energy goes to where it needs to. You're going to be in the sympathetic, which increases cortisol, lowers digestion, and stores fat where you don't want it, right? So the thing that we think we need to do in order to lose weight or to get all the things done is we're actually working against ourselves by being in that sympathetic state all the time and that part of the nervous system. So what can we do about it? As always, just be curious, be aware of it. So the next time you find yourself shoving food in, right? Or you find that you have an hour before there's something else needs to get done and you're almost like running around the house for things to do. Just be like, wonder what's going on. Where is this coming from? Is this just my messaging that I, need to get all of these things done? Does this thing really need to be done right now? Or maybe it's data that lets you know that you need to put some boundaries in place and be able to say no more often. Not say no because you actually do have another obligation, you can't do that, but say no because you know that your body, you know that you need that rest and relaxation. Okay, so maybe it's some data that you need boundaries. It could also be data that you're going because you're avoiding feeling some things. You're avoiding feeling feelings that are uncomfortable and you don't want to deal with. And so it could be a form of numbing. And I absolutely did this. So I would find myself just being busy, but not really getting things done. And it was to avoid actually just sitting and dealing with your thoughts and your feelings that are there. So again, as always, just be curious, be aware what's going on for you. But I really do think moving forward, trying to at least slow down when you're eating, which is a big thing I've had to work on. And I don't always get it right, nearly even close to 100%. But it's okay because I'm more aware of it and I'm more inclined to eat slower than I was in the past, which is a huge step, right? So be aware. But then there are two things I want you to walk away with today that we can help with this. So the first is breath work. And breath work sounds like intimidating, right? Like you have to be this person that's super into yoga and can meditate and can hold their breath for 30 seconds, right? But breath work is just deep breathing. That's all it is. And it's a way to trick our brain into thinking that it's relaxed, right? We can kind of trick it. So if we are taking deep breaths, which settle our nervous system down, then our brain's like, oh, okay, we can relax. So now we can rest and digest. Even if you're still kind of feeling like I have to get this done. Oh my gosh, I have all this stuff going on, right? So the breath work can kind of trick our brain. So easy things to do. You could do the box breath, with which I've shared here before, but you breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and do that a few times. We could do something called the 5-5-7 breath, where you breathe in for 5 seconds, hold it for 5, and then exhale for 7. Just any kind of deep breath, even if you just take 5 deep breaths in and out, that is a start. Before your meals, maybe when you wake up in the morning, before a big meeting that you have going on, before you get in the car, doing that throughout the day is a great way to regulate your system, get into that relaxation state that you want to be, and just honor that need for rest. The other thing I want you to walk away with today, it's another part of our mission, is to create a nourishment menu for yourself. So ways that you can nourish rest and relaxation. So it could be, I'm only putting 2 things on my to-do list today, right? Or I'm playing hooky from laundry today. No laundry is being done today, and it's okay. We all will survive. Laughing, singing, dancing, playing your favorite song, and singing as loud as you can in the car. Anything that nourishes you and just gives you that little bit of relaxation throughout your day is going to benefit you, right? So that's your mission should you choose to accept it. Do some breath work throughout the day and then create a nourishment menu for yourself and frequently do something from that menu. Make it a daily practice so that it's in place for you and we can actually get off of that hamster wheel. Okay, so as always, share with me anything that comes up with you, any questions that you have about this, how it's going for you. Were you able to do the mission and how did it feel when you did? And I hope you have a great day. Bye.